In the quiet suburbs of Austin, Texas, lived the Sanders family. A family that seemed ordinary in every way, but whose life would soon be shaken by a terrifying experience none of them could have imagined. Sarah Sanders, a 38-year-old interior designer, was a woman admired for her elegance and grace. With her tall frame, shoulder-length auburn hair, and thoughtful green eyes, she had a presence that brought calmness to every room she entered. Her husband, Michael Sanders, 41, was a software engineer who balanced his calm personality with a sharp sense of humor. Together they had 2 children. Emily, 16, a high school junior with dreams of becoming a writer, and Jacob, 12, a boy whose curious nature often got him into small but harmless trouble. The Sanders family had been through the routine ups and downs of everyday life, but they had been longing for a break. With the start of summer vacation, Michael suggested a road trip across the beautiful state of Colorado. He imagined hiking trails, small-town diners, mountain air, and peaceful nights under star-filled skies. Sarah loved the idea, seeing it as a chance for all of them to reconnect away from the distractions of phones, work, and school stress. The plan was simple: pack their SUV with camping gear, clothes, and essentials, and drive from Texas to Colorado for a week-long trip. Excitement filled their home in the days leading up to their departure. Emily stocked up on novels for the long drives, Jacob insisted on bringing his favorite board games, Michael organized maps and emergency supplies, and Sarah carefully packed homemade snacks and sandwiches for the road. On a bright Saturday morning, the Sanders family began their journey. The first 2 days were blissful. They drove through scenic highways, stopped at charming diners, took photos near rivers and mountain overlooks, and spent nights in cozy motels. Sarah, with her ever-present sense of planning, made sure every stop was safe, and every rest break turned into a small adventure. Emily filled her journal with stories, while Jacob spent most of his time asking curious questions about the towns they passed. Everything felt perfect, until the 3rd day. The family reached a remote stretch of highway in Colorado. Tall pine trees surrounded them, and the mountains seemed to rise endlessly into the sky. The GPS signaled weakly, and Michael noticed the fuel gauge was getting low. Sarah reminded him that they had passed a small gas station 20 miles earlier, but Michael was confident another one would be just ahead. An hour later, the road grew lonelier. No cars passed them, and the sun was beginning to set behind the peaks. The silence of the forest pressed in on them, broken only by the hum of their engine. That's when they saw it. A black pickup truck appeared in the rearview mirror, its headlights glaring sharply even in the dim light. Michael didn't think much of it at first, just another traveler on the lonely road. But then the truck slowed down and stayed right behind them, too close for comfort. Michael shifted lanes slightly to see if it would pass. It didn't. Sarah, noticing the tension in his jaw, asked quietly, "Do you think they're just in a hurry?" Michael nodded but kept his eyes on the road. The truck followed them for another 10 minutes, never overtaking, never falling back. Jacob turned from the back seat and asked innocently, "Why is that car chasing us?" Sarah quickly told him it was nothing, but her heart pounded harder with each second. Emily, sensing the unease, grew quiet. Finally, Michael pulled into a rest area, a small clearing with a couple of picnic tables and an old vending machine. He figured the truck would pass if they stopped. Instead, the pickup pulled in too. The driver didn't step out. The darkly tinted windows gave no clue about who was inside. Sarah whispered, "This doesn't feel right." Michael agreed, urging everyone to stay in the SUV. Minutes passed. The truck's engine remained on, idling, headlights still glaring at them. The tension was suffocating. After 5 long minutes, Michael restarted their SUV and pulled out. To their dread, the truck followed. What was once a peaceful family road trip was quickly turning into a real-life nightmare. Michael tried to shake them off by taking a side road, winding deeper into the forest. But the truck followed each turn with eerie precision. Sarah clutched her phone, but there was no signal. "What do they want?" she whispered. Jacob started crying quietly, while Emily stared at the darkening woods outside, her hand gripping Sarah's tightly. They drove for nearly an hour with the truck tailing them. Finally, up ahead, they saw a flicker of light, a gas station at the edge of a small mountain town. Relief surged through Sarah as Michael pulled in quickly. The truck slowed, parked across the road, and waited. The Sanders family rushed inside the gas station, where a kind old clerk named Mr. Hayes greeted them. Seeing their frightened faces, he listened carefully as Michael explained. Mr. Hayes stepped outside, staring at the truck, then back at Michael. "You did the right thing stopping here. This road gets dangerous at night. Sometimes it's not just animals out there." He offered them a small cabin behind the gas station to stay the night, free of charge. Michael hesitated, but Sarah, desperate for safety, agreed. That night, as they tried to sleep in the creaky cabin, they heard the crunch of tires outside. The truck had returned. The headlights beamed through the thin curtains. Emily buried her face in Sarah's shoulder, Jacob whimpered, and Michael silently gripped the baseball bat Mr. Hayes had lent him. Hours crawled by. Finally, just before dawn, the truck drove off, its engine fading into the distance. The family didn't dare sleep again. In the morning, Mr. Hayes called the local sheriff, who promised to patrol the area. Though shaken, the Sanders decided to cut their trip short and head back home to Texas. The drive back was quiet, each of them lost in their thoughts. Sarah couldn't stop replaying the haunting image of those headlights in her mind. Emily wrote about it in her journal, capturing every detail. Jacob, though young, would later tell his friends that it was the scariest night of his life. Their peaceful family trip had turned into something they would never forget. Not just a road trip, but a reminder that danger can lurk where you least expect it. For the Sanders family, it became a story of fear, survival, and the strength they found in one another when faced with the unknown. And while they would take trips again in the future, they never again drove into the mountains without preparing carefully, never again ignoring their instincts, and never again forgetting the night a simple vacation became a nightmare.